What's up guys? In today's video I'm going to be plastic welding my bumper back together and trying to fix it because as you can see it's missing the fog lights and the grille, and if you've kept up with my videos you'll know I'm making a carbon fiber custom grille and fog light covers, which are not done yet, but before those can even go in the car I have to fix the bumper and get it repainted. If you look down here you can see it's cracked, and there's actually a metal bar behind this piece. That is what I used as my fix to keep this part from flapping down, and you can also see here where it was filled with some material because I hit something on the highway. I think it was like a semi tire, and it completely broke this down. And it was hanging on the ground and messed up the splash shield and all that under there before I had my chassis mounted splitter, and I kind of got it fixed and then rattle canned it. You know, it looked fine, you couldn't really tell, but you know, that cheap fix is kind of starting to deteriorate, so now we're going to do more of a permanent fix instead of just buying a whole new bumper, since this is kind of an area you can't see and it is broken like all along here and on the other side. So first step is I'm going to go ahead and take the bumper off. I only have it on with these 4 screws and then some clips under there. So I'm going to get the bumper off, and then we're going to take it into the garage so we can put it on these stands and check it out and see what we're going to need to do. So here's what we're working with. You can see there's a crack there. This whole area is just completely messed up. And then there's a crack here that's actually separated from the fix I did. And I'm also going to Bondo up these areas back here, and those are from my splitter rods. They're supposed to be there, but I'm going to clean up those holes and, you know, just get the bumper all nice and smooth so that we can get some paint on it. I think I'm going to do the plastic welding from behind so it's a little bit less of a pain when sanding. And then I'll do some Bondo on the front, and I might end up having to do some fiberglass in here because this is actually carbon fiber that I patched this with, and it's just painted. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the bumper over and make sure these are in the right places, and I'll get it all taped up, and then we can test out this plastic welder I got here from Amazon. It was about 30 bucks. I think it might have even been less than that. They're all the same. They're probably just drop shipped from China. This was just the cheapest one. They all do the same thing. It plugs in, and you've got these little things here that will melt into the bumper and supposedly hold it together. I think it'll work good enough for what I'm doing. And that'll be the first part of this video if you're interested in the plastic welding part. And then as the video goes on, I'll just keep working on the bumper and try to get it smooth and looking good. Alright, so you can see the crack right there. I've got it cleaned up with a wire brush, and I've got the bumper taped in place. I've got the plastic welder plugged in. All you do is hit this trigger, and it starts to heat up. You can see there's a little smoke there. If you can see that. Oh yeah, that gets really hot. You can see that just melted right through that. So I'm going to try to get one right in here. And I guess I just let it cool off until it is stuck in there, and then just rip this thing off and it'll come out. There we go. So there's one piece in there. Doesn't look like it burned through, so this might actually work out quite well. And after I do this, since this middle part this way, you can't see it on the camera, I'll show you in a second, but I took out my ghetto fix I did, so this is all going to need fiberglass anyways, so this will give it the structural part, and then I'll add a layer of fiberglass to make sure it's sealed off. So let's go ahead and get the rest of them on there. So both sides are welded together, and you can see they have all of these wires sticking out, but it did melt down in the bumper and it's super solid. You can see it's not moving from there. And same thing over here. So I'm just going to take some wire cutters and cut off all of these extra things so that those won't be in the way. And then we'll take a look at this crack, and it'll probably need to be sanded down and, you know, put Bondo on all of this, but I'll have to sand the whole bumper down anyways. And then there's this piece here, which is pretty bad. So I'm going to work on this now after cutting these off. That is pretty much it for the welder portion of it. I guess I'll flip the bumper over and set it on the ground, and we can take a look at it. You can see none of them even melted through, so it looks like the plastic welder is a very good method for fixing a broken bumper. And now all this will need is a good bit of sanding and some Bondo, and I think it should be pretty solid. So let's go ahead and get working on this center part. I think I'm going to fix this with fiberglass. I just want to get something down inside of here to kind of act as like a stopper for the fiberglass and resin, so that we can get to sanding it eventually. So after cutting all of the extra wires off, I went ahead and laid fiberglass down here so I can fill these holes in. I laid fiberglass over the plastic welds, and to repair this middle section, I have this plastic wrap over it to just kind of keep it a little bit more neat and keep the strings from not getting all over the place. And then I have the bar in here pressing down on this fiberglass because it was pretty hard to get it to lay flat. And there's tape on the other side, you know, keeping it from going out too far. And then I'm going to let this dry for 24 hours, and then I will lay some Bondo down and fill up all of the holes. And then it'll just be time to sand it and prime it and sand it and prime it until it gets to the perfect finish, and then I'll be able to take it to a paint shop and have them color match it to the car, and it will be good to go. So that is it for now, so I'll catch you whenever this is done drying. Alright, so the fiberglass has dried. It's pretty solid. It might need one more little piece and layer right here, or I might just fill it with body filler, because in the end this is going to get covered in carbon fiber anyways. I just want to have it look good for the time being and for it to get painted. And then I've started sanding over here just because there's been 3 layers of paint on this bumper and it's got lots of pits and rock chips. And then I'm going to sand these cracks and then mix up some body filler, and we're going to fill in those holes down there and these here from cutting out like the grating that was in here. And yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and get this whole thing sanded, and then eventually we'll be able to throw some primer on it and then kind of check our work and see how it's going. So the bumper is all sanded down. So now I'm going to mix up some Bondo. I got to fix some areas right in here. Fix these. There's some like pits and whatnot on here. I'm going to try to fill in those holes, and then I'll start getting it down inside of this middle section here to try to fill that in, and then we'll see what we're working with once that's dry. I can sand it down, and then we can start getting some primer on this and make sure that it looks good. This is not completely straight for some reason. I don't know why, but it should end up looking okay. And I'll go ahead and get started on the Bondo, and we'll check out what it looks like after. So the first layer of Bondo is on. I've got it in there. Filled this whole part here and along here. So I'm going to let this dry for probably about 30 minutes, I think, is all it'll take until it's sandable. And then I'll start sanding it. And if it needs another layer, I can throw another layer on. or we can lay some primer down to help point out the imperfections. Alright, so the Bondo has been sanded for the most part. You can see it's a little wavy just because of how the fiberglass was. So I will add another coat, but it's looking pretty smooth. I gotta finish this in here, but yeah, for the most part it's looking pretty good and smooth. So I'll finish up the sanding and get some primer on it so I can target the small imperfections, and hopefully we can get this wrapped up in the next couple days. So I got the Bondo sanded and got some primer laid down on the bumper. It looks pretty good. This was like some high build primer, so you can see it kind of like cracked there where that could flex, and there's a few little pits in the bumper, but I don't really know how well I'm gonna be able to fix that, but I got most of it all smoothed out, and I got the holes fixed there, so that all looks good. And anyways, I think this fix is a lot more permanent than the last one. And this bottom section, you'll see there's kind of a, it's not even here just because of the way the fiberglass dried. But oh well, it'll be covered anyways, because whenever I have this on the car, I'm probably going to make an air dam that like runs all the way along here and here, so that it'll block air and it'll go into the air inlet here, and then it'll block air from going underneath the bumper, which will make the splitter more functional. So I'm going to go ahead and slap the bumper back on the car for now, just so it has a bumper, and then next time I'll be working on it is when it gets repainted. So that's pretty much it for this video. The plastic welder worked well and definitely fixed that problem. So now this whole thing just needs to get painted and it'll be good to go. So that's pretty much it. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.